Welcome to tonight's live stream. I am going to get started in a minute. I just need to let everybody know that the show is on social media. I just need to let everybody. Good evening, D Wood 78 Part 2. Good evening, Van. Glad to see from you from South Africa. I have viewers all over the world, and it's great to hear from a viewer from South Africa. I'm going to get into tonight's topic in a minute, but I want to give everybody a little more perfunctory, and that is to give you a progress report on The Woman Crisis, a book your Tia Mowry desperately needs to read. Now, I'm in the middle of the final set of edits on the paperback, and the book should be ready for the November release. So, The Woman Crisis, which is the companion to 2018's Man Crisis, will be coming out in November, and you can pre-order your copy on Kindle, and I'll leave a link for you guys to start putting in your pre-orders for The Woman Crisis. Okay, and that is the book that's coming in November. And again, Tia Mowry desperately needs to read this book because, as I see it, your Tia Mowry is on the road to bust downtown. Now, the reason why I say your Tia Mowry is on the road to bust downtown is because she this week announced she's filing for divorce from her husband of 14 years, Corey Hardick. Now, your Tia met Corey as he was waiting for a bus to go to a production he was working on, and it was her meeting him that was one of the great love stories that I have ever heard in my life. It was a beautiful love story about how two people just came together, and sadly, your Tia Mowry doesn't really see the damage that she's doing to herself. And the reason why I believe your Tia Mowry just can't see the damage she's doing to herself is because she has what I call the Jezebel Spirit. Now, this Jezebel Spirit is a demon that oftentimes influences women and makes them go out here and make rash decisions that wind up destroying their lives in the long term. And that's the demon, I believe, that is influencing Tia Mowry's just abrupt decision to go out here and divorce her husband, Corey Hardick. Now, your Corey Hardick basically was taken completely off guard by this announcement by his wife to file for divorce, and he was just completely blindsided by this decision. And it's that whole blindside effect that has me again believing that this is the Jezebel spirit, because the Jezebel spirit is a demon that is out here to go out here and destroy marriages, destroy families, and wind up sending a woman down a dark road to bust downtown. And what happens to many of these women who wind up getting influenced by these Jezebel spirits is they are thinking that they're on some sort of road to empowerment, but that road that they're on is one that the devil uses to deceive them and take them down a road to destruction. Now, this Jezebel spirit is actually named for the female ruler of Israel, the wife of the female, or the wife of the ruler of Israel at the time. I think his name was Ahab. And this Jezebel was a domineering woman who went out here to emasculate her husband and was the one who wielded all of the power in the relationship and used that to take the kingdom of Israel down a bad road, because the Jezebel spirit is all about the woman wanting to have the power over men, have control over men, and looks to go out here and do anything to take power. And that's why the Jezebel spirit is a very dangerous demon, because this is a demon that takes a woman like a Tia Mowry right out of God's natural order. Now, before this, your Tia Mowry was saying that she was a devout Christian and a follower of God. And when I listen to her love story, it's right something straight out of the of somebody who's following the Most High. When I listened to Tia Mowry's story and how she talked about how she met your Corey Hardick on the way to a production and gave him a ride and sat down and talked with him and got to know him, and then took a protracted time to court your Corey Hardick before even thinking about getting more intimate with him, it's clear to me she was following all of the rules of the Most High as related to courtship, and she was following a strict moral code and had a strong moral position. So your Tia Mowry was starting out on point as related to her relationship, and as she got involved with this man, she took a long time to get to know him before she wound up eventually getting married, and then wound up, as some reports say, this was the man she gave herself to in marriage. So basically, she was following all of the rules of the Most High, meeting all the standards of the Most High as related to courtship and marriage, and she was looking to be the esteemed wife of Corey Hardick, and she was looking to submit to Corey Hardick's leadership and authority over the course of their marriage. So I'm looking at Tia Mowry's behavior over the last 14 years, and she was basically following all of the standards of the Most High as related to family and marriage until most recently, about 2 or 3 years ago. Because over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, and I have been a follower of her on Instagram, when she was on Instagram over the last, I say about 2 years from now, she has been posting up these pictures of herself in lingerie. She's been posting up these semi-nude teaser photos. And when I saw those pictures, that's when I said that there's a red flag as related to their relationship. Because if you're a woman who is a follower of the Most High and you're serving God as your Tia Mowry says she does, you're not going to be posting them kind of pictures on the internet for other men to be looking at you and lusting after you. That's when I started to say to myself, this woman is having some sort of spiritual influence from the Jezebel spirit, because only the Jezebel spirit is the demon that will drive a woman to go out here and want to be posting pictures of herself online for other men to be looking at, instead of going out here and keeping those kind of pictures in her boyfriend's USB drive for him to go out here and enjoy. Those type of pictures that women make, they do that for their man, and they keep that between them and their man. So when I looked at Tia Mowry's behavior, I said, okay, there's some red flags here as related to her behavior, because here we have a 40-plus-year-old woman who has just had 2 kids, and she's going out here posting up pictures of herself in lingerie. One picture, she was in the bed with the sheet over herself, implying nudity. I mean, she's posting up all of this type of stuff on here, and her behavior is fitting the same pattern and profile of another Christian woman, your Aisha Curry. Now, your Aisha Curry also was out here pulling this type of behavior as related to Steph Curry, and talking about how she wanted to be with other men. And I'm seeing the red flags right there. And again, most people don't see the red flags, but I was seeing the red flags and saying to myself, this marriage is in trouble, because when a woman is emotionally secure, she ain't taking pictures like this and putting them on social media. And this is a point that I make in my book, The Woman Crisis, in a chapter I call Social Media and the Woman Crisis, because what she's doing is she's looking for attention from other people because she believes she can't get her emotional needs met by the man that she loves. And because she doesn't believe she can get her emotional needs met by that man, and believes that she can't talk to that man, she goes out here looking for attention from other men online. And you really have to look at that and be checking your woman when she's doing stuff like that. I mean, if I had a woman and she was out here taking these kind of pictures and putting them up on social media, we're going to have a conversation, because she shouldn't be seeking attention from other men. No, as her head and her steward, she's supposed to be checking me out, and she's supposed to be out here understanding she is a reflection of me. And when you go out here and take pictures like that, you are saying that you don't really respect the man that you are with, and basically you are looking for another man to be your partner. And again, when women make pictures like this, again, they're sending a message to a man. And again, if a man is a critical thinker, he's not going to be picking up on those messages, and he's not going to be picking up on the red flag right there. But I could look at that picture and say, hey, okay, there's a problem here, because this is not how a woman who is in love with a man goes out here and behaves. Because when a woman loves a man, she is not going to behave in ways that reflect negatively on him. And she's not going to go out here and behave in ways that are going to make him look weak. Because when your woman is out here posing in pictures in lingerie and semi-nude, what she's saying is, I don't have respect for this man. I'm looking for another partner. And this is what Tia Mowry was out here doing. And she was really looking to not even think about her vows to Corey as related to God. And that's where the Jezebel Spirit comes in. Because what happens with the Jezebel Spirit is the Jezebel Spirit will have you thinking about how you're going to get power in this world. And that was another thing I saw from studying her IG pictures that she would post, is she was talking a lot of these feminism talking points, talking about being a boss chick, talking about being the boss lady, dressing up like a big boss businesswoman. And again, these are red flags that your woman is being influenced by the Jezebel Spirit, because the Jezebel Spirit, what it does is it gets a woman fixated on having power, and it has her fixated on being the most powerful in the room. And because she's caught up in trying to get power in this world, she's not thinking about her relationship with God. And when a woman stops thinking about her relationship with God, that's when that woman is that's going to wind up in crisis. Because again, when Tia Mowry started her relationship with Corey Hardick, she was starting it as looking to be a helpmeet to Corey Hardick. She was looking to go out here and help Corey out as related to building his career and building their family. And she was looking to be a helpmeet and a support to this man. And over the last couple of years, I've seen her go from talking about being a family woman, looking to go out here and teach how to cook and putting recipes online, to talking about being a boss chick. So she's gone from looking to serve her husband to going to look out here to be the leader in the relationship and looking to be the overall boss. Again, that spirit of the Jezebel is corrupting this woman, and it's corrupting her soul. And I could see how this Jezebel spirit, again, is basically just taken over this woman, and it's got her thinking about being so-called liberated and empowered. And she's possibly sitting here, again, drinking in the devil's feminism Kool-Aid. And as she sits there and drinks the devil's feminism Kool-Aid, what happens is she's just not really thinking about her vows to God, because she's bought into the feminist Kool-Aid and thinks, oh, my marriage is a business contract, and my marriage is a business institution. And when I hear statements like that, what that tells me is that, you don't really understand what marriage is, because a marriage is a covenant between you, your husband, and God. And that's what a marriage is. And again, that's what Tia Mowry thought a marriage was under when she was following Christianity. She thought that your marriage was a covenant, and she took it very seriously. And she took it very seriously because it meant something as related to her relationship with God. But the whole thing is now she's now caught up in the world, and that is something every woman who follows the Most High has to really watch herself, because there are a lot of subtleties in this world system transpiring all around us. And if we don't watch ourselves, we can wind up getting taken advantage of by these demons like the Jezebel spirit. Because with the Jezebel spirit, again, it's a very subtle and insidious demon. And what this demon will do is have you sitting there believing, oh, I'm going to get all of this power. I'm going to be this liberated woman. I'm going to have this best life. But what the devil is doing is taking you down a dark road. And sadly, your Tia Mowry, she's out here thinking, oh, I'm just going to go and divorce my husband, never thinking critically about the big picture. So she's sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to go out here and divorce this man, and I'm going to do this because I want to go out here and be a part of the world, a world her mother and father tried to warn her about it when they had her and her sister and her siblings in the church. They sat there and warned her about the world, but it looks like she really has not been focusing on her relationship with God. And because she hasn't been focusing on her relationship with God, she's out here thinking all about, oh, I want to divorce this man, not understanding that when you give your life to Christ and you give your life and surrender it to the Most High, you are supposed to be renewing your spirit and renewing your mind so that you won't wind up becoming spiritually lost. Because again, when I look at the motivation for your Tia Mowry filing for divorce abruptly, one, I see the Jezebel spirit influencing her, and two, I see her just getting caught up in being tempted by the world, and I see her getting so caught up in being tempted by the world because I believe she has a fear of getting older. She has a fear of not being able to go out here and live the so-called best life that is presented by Madison Avenue and Hollywood. And she is out here believing, oh, that what's out here in the world, that the grass is greener on the other side. Well, as a follower of the Most High and a servant of the living God, I have to tell, if I ever ran into Mowry, I would tell her that the grass on the other side ain't that green, and it smells like shit, it tastes like shit, and you're in for a shitty experience when you go out here and go to that other side of the road. And your Tia Mowry, as I see it, really needs to start taking a critical look at herself. And I believe your Corey tried to warn her when he said, hey, about, sometimes women make emotional decisions and don't think about them. I mean, your Corey really tried to warn her, I believe, in that statement, because when you have females out here and they're making emotional decisions to go file for divorce, what's going to happen to that woman is she's going to wind up making a decision that's going to wind up destroying her entire life, because she's so caught up in her emotions about what the Jezebel spirit is showing her that she can't really see where she's going. She can't see the end game that the devil is playing with her, because she's, again, got her spirit corrupted by this Jezebel spirit, and this Jezebel spirit is influencing her and making her believe that, oh, there's something better over there, but there ain't nothing better over there. What she has right here with Corey Hardick is what the Most High wants a woman to have. I mean, she's living an abundant life, and she's living the abundant life that the Most High has for her, and she can't really count her blessings and see what she has. I mean, yes, she's still acting in Hollywood, but the whole thing is she was bearing the fruit of 2 children. She had a husband who loved her. She had a home that was really coming together, but she's so caught up in trying to be a part of the world that she doesn't understand that she's putting her soul in jeopardy. And again, I talk about this in The Woman Crisis, where a lot of these women, they start getting on this road talking about, I'm not happy, and they're not satisfied, and they don't see how the demon is got them seeing things that aren't there, and got them thinking that there's this much better thing over there, not understanding that the Most High has provided you with the very best. Because if you look at Tia Mowry's life, she has the very best. I mean, she has has a lot of business ventures going on in her home. She's doing different things, like she was doing things like cooking and doing very well for herself. And she had a husband who loved her and had kids. And again, things were working out as related to the Most High standard. And she's not really thinking about how it relates to the Most High, because a lot of us, when you get that Jezebel spirit and you get caught up in the world, you're sitting there thinking, oh, everything in the world looks better. Those women out there who are living their so-called best life. But I have this to tell your Tia Mowry, if I ever ran into her in the street, I would tell her, the abundant life that the Most High offers is far superior than that best life that these females have out here. Because most of those females out here who are talking about living their best life, most of those females are completely miserable, and most of those women talk a good game, but a lot of those women, they're not satisfied at all as related to their life. And what these women want to do is make you miserable in their company, because once they make you miserable in their company, they've got you on that same road that they're on. And that's basically because they want to see you suffer, because that's all part of female jealousy. Because when you have jealous females who are out here, they see you living well. They see you got your family in order. They see you got your house in order. They see you got a man who's taking care of you. And what those females start doing is they start whispering in your ear, hey, this over here is better. You can be the boss chick. You can be the fly chick. you can be the hot chick. And the whole thing is that you're going to throw away everything that you built with a man in order to get something that I can tell you is hot garbage. Now, I look at your Tia Mowry, and I'm saying this because when I look at her, she's sitting there saying, oh, I want to divorce this man for irreconcilable differences. This man don't even know if anything was wrong, but she's going to file for divorce from this man, looking to get away from him. And you sitting there talking about irreconcilable differences, and you didn't even sit down and them to find out what was going on. I mean, I believe that, again, Jezebel Spirit leading this woman, because if this woman was thinking logically and critically and just not being led by this demon, she would be sitting there saying, you know, if I'm having issues with this man, let me take this to a counselor, or let me go to the Most High and really ask to get some help as related to things, because this is not how a woman who so-called follows God goes out here. No, this is how a woman led by the Jezebel Spirit goes out here. A woman led by the Jezebel Spirit is the one talking about divorce, because we can go straight to the scriptures in, I believe it was Matthew, where Jesus himself said the only reason for divorce is fornication, which is sex outside of the marriage. And your Corey Harding did not participate in any sort of sex outside the marriage. Even under polygyny, he would be allowed to do so, but he has not cheated on your Tia Mowry. No, he was out here on point being a man, and he was out here looking to take care of his family. So I'm looking at Corey, and she's saying she wants to divorce this brother, and she's divorcing him. And again, going right outside of the Bible that she says she's a part of. And that right there, again, shows me the Jezebel Spirit, because a follower of God is not going to be talking about no divorce. No, she's going to be looking to go and get some counseling from somebody who follows the Most High. And she's going to be looking for guidance from those who follow the Most High. And if things are so-called irreconcilable, they're going to follow what the Apostle Paul said, which was, you know, you take some time off from each other for a season, and then if you come back to each other. That's what a follower of God is going to do. So when I'm looking at Tia Mowry's behavior, again, Jezebel Spirit is influencing this woman. She's talking, going against the God that she serves, because to file for divorce is going against the God that you serve. When your man has not committed any act of fornication, you have not committed any act of fornication. You are sitting here talking about, I want to divorce this brother, again, outside of the order of God and the God that you serve. So right there, again, I'm seeing Jezebel Spirit controlling your Tia Mowry. And as I listened to her sitting there talking and presenting her whole structure for this divorce, I started to see, again, that Jezebel Spirit running around, because I'm sitting there listening to her talking all about money. I mean, everything in the relationship is about money. Oh, I don't want this man to get spousal support. I mean, I don't want this man to be able to have his rights under the marriage. So I'm sitting there listening to this, and I'm like, you don't want this man to have so-called spousal support, even though you work with this man towards building a household. You don't want to submit to this man as a head. You don't want to show this man his respect. No, I know what this is all about. I know what this is all about, because I've seen this Jezebel demon tear apart families, and I've seen this Jezebel demon go out here and really deceive women. Thank you, Blackmail Advice TV, Ringo, for the cash out. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Soul Survivor, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gerald, for the super chat. He says, glad to see you on, Sean. Thank you for taking my call. Yeah, thank you very much for having that conversation with me. But I'm going to get back into Tia Mowry, because, again, as a follower of God, I see this woman, and she is in crisis. and she is in a really dangerous position. She is really, again, in a place where she's about to lose her soul. And again, that's even worse than her marriage, because when you walk away from the Most High, again, that's like, again, like Jesus said in the Bible, putting him to open shame. And again, she's out here looking to be a part of the world, not really thinking about what she's doing as related to her relationship with God. She's sitting up here thinking about, oh, I want to get away from this man who has done me no wrong. I want to go back out into the world. And she's not really thinking about her spiritual foundation. She's not thinking about her relationship with God. She's not thinking about the world to come. She's caught up in this world, and she's caught up in this feminist ideal of trying to go out here and live her best life right now, because that's what she wants to do, I believe, when she gets away from Corey Hardick, when she gets away from a man who is going to go out here and impose order and set standards. She wants to go out here and be the wild woman. And that was shown to me by those pictures she's been posting on Instagram, these pictures of her, again, out here with in these lingerie, and the picture of her, she was a picture of her in bed with the sheet over her. That she wants to go out here thinking that this is going to be a better life. But I, again, have news to tell her as somebody who wrote an entire book, The Woman Crisis. She's a woman in crisis, and her behavior is fitting the chapter book called Bust Downtown. Now, a bust down in Bust Downtown is one of these old feminists who has gone out here and lived her best life, wilded it out with all of the different guys. And in her older age, she's living in an apartment waiting for the last days of her life. And that's not a place you want to be as a woman. No, you wanted to be where Tia Mowry currently is right now, with a husband, with 2 kids who love her. You want to be in that place. And that place is it's a place where you're under God, you're under God's protection, you're under God's covering, and in that place you are safe. But many women, they start taking that life for granted, and they start listening to the devil, who starts telling them, oh, there's a better life over there, but there's no better life over there. That's what the devil will try to tell you. He say, oh, look at those women over there, they're having a great time. No, those women aren't having a great time. Those women are desperate, and those women are desperate, like I talk about in The Woman Crisis. They are desperate to try to find somebody or anybody, and they need to get attention for themselves, because they know that their time in the social marketplace is just about over. That's why those women are out here posting all of those pictures on Instagram. That's why those women are on social media trying to show how sexy they are, because basically what they want to do is try to find some old simp who will go out here and be able to want to try to go pick them up in Bust Downtown for 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace value that these women originally had. So what those women are doing when they post those pictures on the gram is they're looking to try to find some simp, because they basically have nothing to offer anybody as related to morals, character, or value. And now they're desperately trying to find some pathetic guy that they hope to try to sell that nuclear waste to, and hopefully find some guy who will find a place for them in their home. That's what they're looking for. And again, your Tia Mowry has not been schooled on the game out here as related to these kind of females. No, she's thinking that, oh, I'm an older woman. I'm looking to get that kind of attention. But if you've got a husband and you've got children, you don't need that attention, because right now God has blessed you with an abundant life. He has given you the very best, but sadly, instead of you thanking God for what you have been given, you want to say that what he's given you isn't good enough and you want something better. Well, I'm here to tell you there is nothing better out there. And the reason why there's nothing better out there for a Tia Mowry is because, again, at 44 years old, that her prospects for finding another dude are slim to none, because the pool of men that was out here when she was young and hot and doing stuff like the sister and then doing stuff like The Game, where she did a couple of episodes where she was in the lingerie, and again, I saw those episodes. Those were kind of hot. But the whole thing is that, you know, she was on those episodes and she was doing well as an actress. She was doing well for a long time. And she didn't understand that, you know, you had something great as related to your husband. You going out here, you have your family. And instead of you appreciating this, you want to go out here and look at the world that's out there thinking that, oh, I want to be a hot girl. I want the attention like I had when I was young. No, you're not supposed to get that attention. Once you go out here and get your man and you get married, you know you need to be checking for your man and making sure that you are out here looking hot for him and you're out here doing stuff that is fly for him. I mean, once you get your husband, most women should realize that they need to be content because you have the very best. You have what most women really want, but you're sitting there thinking about, oh, I want something else over there. But let me tell you, there's nothing out there as related to the, life. Once you go out here and build your home and your family, you try to go back out here at 44 years old and try to hit these streets. And the only thing out here are old Pookies, old Ray Rays, and all of these other, you know, passport bros. That's what waits Tia Mowry when she tries to call herself getting back out there. And what's out there isn't going to be dudes who are of any sort of value or the character of Corey Hardick. Now, your Corey Hardick, again, he seems like a decent brother from what I've read and the way he has responded to things, because he could have took this chick to the barbecue, cooked and roasted her, but instead he has shown respect because he knows as the head, that's not going to reflect positively on him. So he understands that this is not going to reflect positively on me if I go out here and cook and roast this chick like I'm partially doing right now. But again, I do this out of love because I see that this sister, again, is being corrupted by a Jezebel spirit. And I see that this sister is being misled by a Jezebel spirit that's running this whole feminist liberation game in her head and got her thinking she's going to be empowered when she steps out of this marriage and then tries to step back into the dating scene. And again, a 44-year-old woman stepping back into the dating scene is not a good thing. No, a 44-year-old woman stepping back in the dating scene is really a situation that's really bad, because the whole game has, again, completely changed. Because, again, the pool of guys who were out here just chasing her when she was younger, most of those guys are married. Most of those guys have their own families. Most of those guys are no longer on the market. And the only dudes on the market are, again, old Pookies, old Ray Rays, old whoremongers like your Kevin Samuels when he was alive. And again, all of these guys, they are only looking to go out here and get your Tia Mowry to drop the skid mark thong so they can say, I banged a celebrity. And again, that's not a good reflection on a woman who used to be a mother, a woman who has 2 children. I mean, I think about that. It's like, why would I want to go from being with my husband at home to going out here and being turned out by the leftovers as related to the pool of males, your old Pookies who are still living with their mama, old Ray Rays who are still out here hustling, and old so-called high-value men who are basically food stamp brothers. I mean, why am I looking to go out here and deal with these bottom of the barrel dudes? I mean, why is she going out here looking for those dudes when you got a quality, when you have a quality man who is taking care of business at home? Again, that would be a critical question I would ask Tia Mowry if I was to get face to face with her. And she's sitting here trying to think, oh, I'm going to go out here and get some sort of big time guy. Because a lot of these women, when they go out here and they get older and they so-called get established, what they think they're going to do is divorce their husband and get some sort of high value guy or some sort of big time baller. But those kind of guys, again, they've already picked their wife if they have one, and they have gone out here and established their families. And if these guys are out here and they're single, usually they're just whoremonger males. And again, they're just looking to go and say, hey, I'm looking to go get this celebrity to drop her thong, and I'm looking to go put my carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor and get my taste of the waste. And I'm looking to go out here and have a story to brag to my friends that I was out here and I was the one who smashed one of the Mowry sisters. That's basically what these guys are looking to do with a Tia Mowry. They're looking to go out here and looking to say that they smashed her. And they're looking to go out here and say this because, again, a lot of these guys are old simps, and these old simps see an old celebrity, and they're looking to try to make themselves stars with other men by saying, hey, I went out here and I smashed Tia Mowry. Again, this is the horror story that's awaiting your Tia Mowry, and she does not know about how horrifying this story can end. But as somebody who is and observe the big picture as related to that dating pool, I can tell you that this is what awaits your Tia Mowry. Again, this is what happens in Bust Downtown. And again, it's a major social decline for a young woman to be in when you go from having a husband and a family to going to be somebody that is turned out and smutted out. I'm taking a Ringo talking point here, and that's what's going to happen to your Tia Mowry, because she wanted to be influenced by this Jezebel spirit, and she wanted to walk away from God. And again, when she stopped making God her foundation as related to things, this is where she wound up in serious trouble. This is where your Tia Mowry wound up in trouble because she's looking to, again, get that acceptance from men. She's looking to get that acceptance, I believe, from some women out here who are feminists, and she's not seeing where she's going. I mean, what's really interesting to me is that I think about what happened with Lisa Bonet about a year ago. She was also talking this stuff too, and she was being influenced by the Jezebel spirit. And your Lisa Bonet was talking about she wanted to go out here and she wanted to divorce her husband, Jason Momoa. But when she took a minute and looked at the world and looked at what was going on at 54 years old. She started to look at herself and say, look, I've got two kids, and I'm 54 years old. I've got tinsel in my hair. I've got tinsel in my crotch, and I'm not going to be able to go back out in that marketplace, even though I used to be the girl next door on the Cosby Show as Denise Huxtable. I'm not going to be able to get out on that world and get into that dating marketplace. They going to eat me alive. And just about, I think, a week after she made that announcement, she quickly went back to her husband because she realized that her prospects at 54 are slim to none. So with Lisa Bonet, she looked at it and said, I'm not going back out there. I got a husband who is taking care of me. I got a husband who is doing all right. I got my kids, and they're going to school. I need to go out here and be that older woman. But your Tia Mowry, sadly, she's been bitten and possessed by this Jezebel spirit, and she can't see the influence that this demon is having on her. And because she can't see the influence that this demon is having on her, what's happening is that she doesn't see how she's become her own worst enemy. And that's the major influence of the Jezebel spirit. The Jezebel spirit will have you sitting there, and it'll have you destroy everything as related to your family and your home, thinking you're gonna get power. But at the end of the day, the Jezebel spirit is the reason why many of these women out here are alone at 40 and 50 and even 60 years old, because the Jezebel spirit tells the woman a lie. Oh, you can still be as fly and hot as you were in your 20s. And what that demon is doing is trying to regress your development. And I talk about this in The Woman Crisis, about the arrested development of the American female. And Tia Mowry is under that, again, Jezebel influence, telling her she still can do stuff at 44 that she could do at 24. But there comes a time when a woman has to go out here and put away the things of her youth and her childhood. Again, the same way that the Bible says that the man has to do this, and because there comes a time when a man and a woman have to forsake their mother and father and cleave to each other. And that's the vow that your Tia Mowry made when she went out here and married Corey Hardick. She made the vow to forsake her mother and father and cleave to this man. And again, walking away from the word of God to try to be who she was when she was younger, trying to be young and sexy, trying to be young and hot. But you're not hot at 44 years old to 20 somethings, because 20 somethings see 20 somethings as hot and attractive. And once you've built yourself up and established yourself as an older woman, you want to be hot and sexy for your husband, because he's supposed to be your main focus. And the sad part is that your Tia Mowry doesn't see how she's been blessed with a good husband, how she's been blessed with a good home. No, she wants to trade it in for what she thinks is gonna be better. But again, I'm just gonna keep repeating it. There's nothing better out there when you get 44 years old. No, at 44, you're supposed to have had your family and your home. And at this point, you're supposed to be coasting, moving your relationship forward. I mean, at this point, back in the day, many of the older women, they would be in a place where they would be established, and then they would be looking to mentor the younger women on how to go out here and be able to establish their own household and have their own husband. I mean, at this point, when you're in your 40s and at my age, you're at that point where you want to be, where you can go out here and help somebody else have a good marriage. You want to be able to take your experiences and teach those young women. And again, your Tia Mowry, she's still trying to be 18, 19, 20. And again, that's not how women operate, because when women reach a certain age, they're supposed to, again, forsake their mother and father, become one with their husband, be one under God, be one looking to serve God, and look to go out here and submit to the authority of God, and make sure that you're teaching the gospel to your family and setting an example of the Lord in front of them. And we didn't see this with your Tia Mowry, who really isn't thinking about the message she's sending to her son and her daughter, because with the way she's behaving right now, what your Tia Mowry is doing is she's setting her son and her daughter up to become men and women in crisis, like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis and The Woman Crisis. So basically, your Tia Mowry, she's got an 11-year-old son, and her 11-year-old son is hearing about her leaving his father. And again, that's something that you don't really want to do in front of your son, because when you go out here and you reject his father, you are saying that a man cannot be loved, a man should not be respected, and basically you send in a message to that boy that women are just, they don't have to respect a man, And basically, this boy is on the road to becoming one of the beta males that I talk about in the book, The Man Crisis. Because when you divorce your husband and you go out here and you just leave him like that, and the boy is seeing this, he's seeing dysfunction being presented to him on display, and he's thinking that dysfunction is perfectly normal. And instead of him learning how to be a part of a marriage and seeing his father as a head and a steward that needs to be respected, what you're putting your boy on is the road to becoming one of these dysfunctional whoremonger males. And your Tia Mowry, again, isn't really thinking critically about the message she's sending to that young boy that she just had. She's not seeing how she's putting the boy from being on the road to interdependence by seeing his father being the head, being the head, to becoming codependent and a mama's boy. She doesn't see the damage that she's doing to this young man because she's caught up in herself, caught up in her feelings, caught up in who she wants to be, because she wants to be the sexy chick. She wants to be the hot chick. But that's not anything a woman needs to be once she gets married. The only man she needs to be hot and sexy for is her husband, because that's the man you're looking to serve and be a part of. And your Tia Mowry also doesn't see the damage that she's doing to her daughter, because you're setting your daughter up on a bad road, because the model she's seeing is dysfunction. And when she sees you walking away from the father and sees all of these different men that you're going to try to bring around her, what you're doing is setting that poor girl up for failure as related to relationships. Because most girls, they see their father as the example of the man that they should want to go out here and marry. And when they see the father being rejected, they don't really have a positive example for a relationship to go out here and use as their model for relationships and for a possible potential husband. So basically, your Tia Mowry is setting her kids up for failure later on. And I've heard so many horror stories from kids who were divorced, dealing with divorce. And this basically messes these kids up. And she doesn't see this because, again, Jezebel Spirit is blinding her. And as this Jezebel Spirit blinds her, it's got her thinking about being the liberated, empowered woman, not understanding how she's taking power away from her family and taking away an impact from her family, talking about irreconcilable differences. No, there's no irreconcilable differences. There's just a Jezebel Spirit. And what the Jezebel Spirit does is it misleads women, takes them down a road where they're thinking, oh, I'm going to be this fly chick. I'm going to be this hot chick. I'm getting ready for hot girl summer. I'm getting ready to be super sexy. When in actuality, all you're looking to do is go out to these bars and clubs where you're basically going to wind up dealing with the competition from younger women. And what's going to happen is you're going to wind up running into old busted Pookies, old busted Ray Rays, or you're going to run into young guys, and the young guys are basically going to look to turn you out in order to get free stuff. And this is what happened to, I believe, your Halle Berry when she got with Gabriel Aubrey. She was looking for this younger man, and she wound up getting the younger man. And the younger man basically, he got his business taken care of. He went out here and he managed to get a little bit of the draws and get Halle to drop the skid mark thong. He gave her some kids, and then he got paid on child support. And that's, again, the fate that your Tia Mowry ain't looking at. She's not looking at the women who are in Bust Downtown, who blew their chance at a marriage, blew their chance at a family, blew their chance at a home. No, she's going in there thinking that she's going to not find this situation, but this situation is coming to her because there's no, again, when you go out into that dating market at 44, the prospects, again, are slim and none, and Slim left town 5 years ago. So she's sitting there thinking there's going to be some quality brother out there. No, there's no quality brothers in these bars, in these clubs, in these streets. I mean, quality brothers, I'm going to tell you for a fact, once they go on the market, they quickly get snapped up. And usually females be on the job or on the street and they see a quality brother out here, they grab that dude right off the block before anybody else can go and get them. And your Tia, ironically, had just did that with Corey Hardick. I mean, Corey, she snapped him up, got him off the market, took this dude off the market, and got her a husband. But now she doesn't appreciate the man that she has. And now she's on her way to going to live in sin. Because again, according to the Bible, it states that the only reason for divorce is fornication. And unless you are fornicating, there is no reason for a divorce. And whoever gets involved with this woman who is divorced, they are going to be committing adultery under the standard of God, because under the standard of God, unless this man or this woman participated in fornication, there is no dissolution of the marriage. And I wouldn't want to get with a woman who was involved like this, because the problems are just going to be major as related to a Tia Mowry, because Tia is not looking at the spiritual side of things as related to her relationship. She's not understanding, like what Ringo has talked about the soul ties, about the DNA and the bonds that women have. Because when a woman like Tia Mowry gets involved with her husband and he releases his spirit in her, he releases his DNA inside of her, and they form a spiritual bond, that is not something you can go out here and take for granted. No, you cannot take a spiritual bond for granted, because that spiritual bond is something God made for two people to be together until death do they part. And your Tia Mowry, again, listening to the Jezebel Spirit, thinks that she can go out here and have relationships with another man. No, you're not going to be able to do that, because your soul is still tied to this man. Your spirit is still tied to this man. You're still bonded to this dude. And you trying to go out here and try to so-called live your best life, this is going to lead to you having spiritual problems, because you are not designed to be out here like that. No, you're going to go out here, get bonded to try to bond with other men, and you're not going to be able to, because you're still spiritually bonded to Corey. You're still a part of Corey. And most dudes who are smart, they're not going to want to get involved with you, because they know that you have 2 children by Corey. They know that she's still got spirit with Corey. So there's no way that they can have a relationship with her. And she's still got these feelings and connections with another man. So there's no way that this woman can go on and have another man, because that, again, is a violation of the word of God. And it just isn't going to work, because you still have soul ties to that other man. And that other man is not gonna wind up doing any guy well if he gets involved with her. If another man gets involved with your Tia Mowry and tries to smash, she's going to wind up with a lot of spiritual chaos, because she's going to have another spirit tied to her. And as she has this other spirit tied to her, that's when we start to see the deterioration of her mental health, because that's why we see so many women out here acting crazy, acting and just completely erratic and out of it. And I talk about this in the Woman Crisis, because when you have all of these different spirits, different souls, different DNA attached to you, I mean, these soul ties tied to you, this is what happens is these souls start pulling at you, and eventually you wind up starting to become detached and disconnected from yourself, and you cannot even feel anything, because you got all of these different spirits ripping at your soul. And again, nobody sat down and talked to Tia Mowry about these things, and that's because she is, as I see it, getting further and further away from God-centered people. And if she had people who were followers of the Most High in her life, not these pseudo-Christian clowns, she would be in a much better place, because people who are following the Most High, we're going to try to tell her, look, you don't break up your marriage because of feelings or, like Kenneth is saying, a midlife crisis. No, you don't mess up your marriage for these things. No, what you do is you go out here and you go and get in the counsel of God-centered people. And if things are really stressing you, then both of you take a season away from each other and you just take some time to reflect on things, but you don't break up your marriage over some impulsive feelings, because breaking up a marriage is going to wind up breaking you at the end of the day. Because when the Jezebel spirit is misleading you, the Jezebel spirit has the woman out here thinking that she's on a road to being liberated and empowered by going out here and getting with different guys who are nothing more than whoremonger males who are looking to go out here and pump and dump that woman. And a lot of these young guys, they were part of the Gen X crowd, and they're basically like Roger on Sister Sister, hoping to get their shot at one of the Mowry sisters at 80% off the original price. And they want to go out here and brag about how they finally managed to smash one of the Mowry sisters. And that's basically what your Tia Mowry is on the road to. And she can't see where she's going because, again, she doesn't have good godly counsel. She doesn't have anybody who truly, I believe, cares about her enough and is in the word to sit down and talk to her. And she really needs somebody who is in the word, somebody who is following the gospel to sit down and talk to her, because she is so far away from her pseudo-Christian roots that she doesn't see she's on the road to hell. And again, the road to Bust Downtown is one of the pit stops on the road to hell. And your Tia Mowry can't see how she's on that road to hell because she's caught up with this Jezebel spirit. She's been misled by these feminists out here who are just telling her all of these lies. And she's just really, I believe, being misled and controlled by this Jezebel spirit. And this woman desperately needs prayer. She desperately needs somebody, again, to give her some godly counsel, because you don't, again, walk away from your husband for these so-called irreconcilable differences. You don't walk away from your husband for absolutely arbitrary reasons. Again, if you're following the Bible, if you're a servant of God, you are going to be like, the only reason I'm divorcing this woman is if she's out here fornicating with another man, if she's out here dropping the skid mark thong and giving some guy some vitamin D, then I got a reason to go out here and leave that woman, like in the case of Will Smith with Jada Pinkett. If she's out here having entanglements with other men, then I got a reason to go out here and divorce that woman. And I have every justification by the Most High to do that, because she's giving vitamin D to another dude and disrespecting our marriage, disrespecting the commitments she made to God. She's disrespecting the covenant. And if she's disrespected the covenant, then I have a reason to go out here and divorce that woman. But if I'm just really talking about I'm in my feelings because I'm having a so-called midlife crisis, then I don't have a reason to divorce my husband, and I don't have a reason to destroy my home and my family because I'm in my feelings and not really thinking about the big picture, which is a home and family that God created and we established. That is the thing that your Tia Mowry ain't really thinking about, because she's, again, been corrupted by a Jezebel spirit. And again, the Jezebel spirit has destroyed so many families and so many homes. And many of those women, 4 or 5 or even 10 years later, they sit there and live in regret. because they realized they destroyed their home and they have nothing to show for it at the end of this life. And they wound up making a mess, and they realized they can't go back because they threw away their good husband, they threw away their home, they alienated their kids, and again, they wind up residents of Bust Downtown. And inside of Bust Downtown, these females are sitting in some apartment with a cat and waiting for death to come release them from the life that they destroyed. And some of them reminisce and look back and think about the abundant life that they had and all of the blessings that God gave them that they didn't appreciate. And that's basically what Tia Mowry has done. Again, she's not appreciating what the Most High has given her. She's not appreciating what the Most High has provided for her, because for God to again give you a husband in your youth, give you a home in your youth, give you a man who stood by you in your youth, who really wasn't concerned about the fame, who was out here trying to be a man. Because I listened to her story, and I listened to Corey Hardick talking about how he wanted to go out here, and he was working jobs like Kmart and stuff like that, but he still stayed with her. Again, he was looking to make his own money, be his own man, take care of his own stuff. That's a man you can respect, because he could have just sat there and coasted on her money like a Pookie or a Ray Ray, but he looked to stand like a man, and that's something you can go out here and respect. He looked to go out here and build and look to build with her, but she looks to tear down everything because she's feeling scared about, oh, I'm getting older. And again, the Jezebel Spirit misleading her, thinking, oh, you're getting older, but no, you're in the place you need to be. And again, at 44, you need to be focused on building up your kids, showing them a good moral position, showing them an example of Black womanhood. That was supposed to be Tia Mowry's standard. She was supposed to be out here showing an example to her children. Unfortunately, because she's got in a state of arrested development, she's looking back at the past, hoping to go back to a time in her life. And there's no going back to that time in your life. No, you need to appreciate where you are right now, because where you are right now is a good place. It's just like I say about the incels who'll be sitting up there mad talking about, oh, I ain't got no woman. No, count your blessings. Think about where you are right now, because the place that you're going is not a good place. Again, a lot of women, they want to go out here and be the hot chick. They want to be the sexy chick. No, that's not something you want to be, for have your pictures out there like that. No, if you want to take those pictures, take them for your man, take them for your husband, because he's the one who needs to be looking at you. Don't worry about these other people out here. Those other people, they are not your concern, because you have the prize, you have the husband, you have the children, you have been blessed. And again, Tia Mowry not looking at how she's been blessed. No, all she's thinking about is, oh, I want to go back to being what I was, or trying to be something better. And again, a lot of these middle-aged women, like a lot of middle-aged guys who used to be in the midlife crisis, they're still thinking about who they were instead of counting their blessings and thinking about what they have right now. And then they jeopardize what they have, and then they wind up losing everything. And again, it's harder to start over at 44 than it is at 24. And I know this from personal experience, because I have lost jobs and I've had to start over again and again. It's harder to start over at 44 after you tear down your home, because that's basically what they want her to do, is tear down her home, tear down her finances, and call herself living her best life, and then wind up broke, and then wind up with nothing to provide for her children in terms of a legacy or wealth. Because when you break up a family in divorce, you wind up taking all of your family's assets away. And again, there's nothing left for your kids as related to their legacy. And there's nothing left for your family to see as your legacy, not only economically, but spiritually, because your spiritual wealth is your family being together, your kids seeing a model of a healthy family, your kids seeing an example of womanhood, your kids seeing that you can go out here and had a successful marriage, because what is successful for a woman is not making money. No, what's successful for a woman is going out here and having a husband who you can ride or die with, and you having your kids together. That is the definition of success for a woman, having your family all together and building a family and a home. Because the feminists, again, they lie to women like Tia Mowry, and because they tell them, oh, you need to have this job and this career, you need to make all this money. Well, the man don't need you to make money, because it's his job to provide, and it's his job to take care of business. And your job is to help that man build. And again, that's what your Tia Mowry is missing out on, because again, Jezebel Spirit is misleading her. And as that Jezebel Spirit misleads her, it's leading her down the road to Bust Downtown. And again, Bust Downtown ain't a place you want to be. I mean, that's where your Halle Berry is right now. That's where your Vivica Fox is right now. That's where many of these popular celebrities are right now. And it's not a place you want to be in your 40s. No, you want to be where Tia Mowry used to be, where you got a husband, you got kids, and you're focusing on stuff that is family oriented. You got your family together. That's where you want to be, because that's a blessed place. And it's a blessed place when your kids can be in a home. Dad is there, mom is there. That provides those children with emotional security, and that builds a boy's confidence, that builds a girl's confidence. And that's what Tia Mowry is looking to go out here and damage, because she's caught up in her feelings, not thinking about the impact she's going to have on her children, because those kids are sitting there and they are just anxious now, because they're wondering, oh, is daddy going to leave? Because she's sitting there thinking, oh, we can co-parent. No, there's no need to co-parent. There's a need for you to for you guys to stay together and let those kids grow up with their mom and dad. Let those kids have a foundation of stability. Let those kids have their emotional security, because when kids see their mom and dad at home, that really builds up a kid's confidence. That really builds up a kid's self-worth. It has a major impact on their self-esteem. And again, your Tia Mowry ain't thinking about that, because she wants to be putting on bikinis and posing on Instagram. She wants to be posing in lingerie on Instagram. She wants these thirsty guys to be going out there and looking at her pictures with a bottle of lotion. But that's not something a married woman should be going out here and doing. No, a married woman should understand, look, my focus needs to be my husband and my children. And the only person who needs to be checking out my pictures with a bottle of lotion is my husband. And again, he don't really need pictures, because he got the real thing at home. But the pictures are just something, if you're away for a long time, you have them. But the whole thing is that she's sitting there trying to grow old, trying to regress her age. And instead of her trying to grow old and grow old with a good man, because that's something God said, you need to love the wife of your youth. You need to be with the wife of your youth. She's not looking to grow old with a husband. She's looking to grow old, sadly, by herself. And growing old by yourself is something that is one of the saddest things that could happen to a woman, is growing old and being alone, because most of those women, these feminist women, they are not at peace with themselves. Thank you, Kenneth, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to donate to the Cash App or the super chat, it'd be greatly appreciated. But your Tia Mowry, again, she doesn't understand where she's going, but I understand where she's going, because I've seen so many stories when I was writing my book, why 70% of Black women are single, and she's headed down that road to becoming one of those dysfunctional 70% of Black women who are single. And again, I wrote that book 20% of Black women are single. You can get that book in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. And your Tia Mowry is headed towards becoming one of those women who's going to be miserable in the company of other bust downs. And as she's in the company of those other bust downs in Bust Downtown, instead of her looking to celebrate memories with her son and her daughter and her husband, things like graduations, things like anniversaries, she's going to be looking to just wait for death. And again, that's what most of these women are doing now. They're just waiting for death because they missed out on the abundant life that Jesus promised us. And they're missing out on the abundant life because they wanted to follow the Jezebel spirit. They wanted to follow the feminist. And as they followed the Jezebel spirit and the feminist, they wound up losing out on life on this world and the next. And that is a sad fate for your Tia Mowry because, again, she has walked away from the gospel she said she was a part of. She's walked away from Christ. And again, she's not really thinking about who she's really walked away from. She has not just walked away from Corey Hardick. No, she walked away from God first. And that's the being that she really needs to get back in touch with. She needs to get back in touch with the Most High. She needs to get back in touch with her spiritual relationship with God. And she needs to get back in touch with God and find out where He wants to take her, because the road she's on, again, is the Jezebel spirit misleading her. And this Jezebel spirit is leading her on a road where she's going to go from taking God's gift of eternal life to winding up in the lake of fire, because this demon is really messing her up. And again, this is something that is a really dangerous place, because this is the place of the unforgivable sin, where people are told about Christ and their relationship with God, and they go out here and reject God to go be a part of the world. Again, Tia Mowry's in a very dangerous place, as I see it, because when you're out here, and again, you don't see where you're going, the devil will mislead you. But the whole thing is that the Most High and Jesus are waiting for you. And again, there's a way for her to go back to God and repent. And your Tia Mowry, as I see it, really does need to go back to Christ, go back to God, go back and repent, go back to the Messiah and repent of this sin, and go out here and look to work with her husband, because that's the only way she's going to ever find any sort of so-called peace and satisfaction. A lot of women, they want to talk about, oh, I want this happiness, I want this satisfaction. No, the only place you're going to find peace and satisfaction is in the Most High and your relationship with Him. That's the only place you're going to find peace and satisfaction. And again, the sad part with Tia Mowry is that she took her spiritual life for granted. And because she took her spiritual life for granted, what she did was she got caught up in the world, and she wound up losing her peace. And she is about to wind up possibly losing her eternal soul if she doesn't get right with God, because the way she is behaving right now shows that she is outside the order of God, because a woman outside the order of God is the only one who thinks about divorcing her husband, even though this man has not cheated, even though this man is not a whoremonger and has done no transgressions as related to the standard of God. This is again a demon inside of this woman, the Jezebel spirit. And this Jezebel spirit is one that Tia Mowry's family need to go out here and call on the name of Jesus or the name of the Messiah to go out here and rebuke, because this demon is taking this girl's soul straight to hell. Now, I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream. And this was a stream I really wanted to do because I see Tia Mowry, again, as a fellow follower of God. And sadly, I hate to see a fellow follower of God lose her soul. And that's why I'm so passionate about this live stream, because so many sisters out here, they don't understand what they have that's related to their relationship with God. They take things for granted, like Eve did with the serpent. She thought she wanted to know, she could know better than God. And the whole thing is your Tia Mowry isn't thinking, oh, I know better than God. And she's winding up in a situation where she's going to jam herself up spiritually because she's thinking that there's something better out in the world. But again, there's nothing better out in the world. And any man out here who sees a woman in crisis like this, they're going to want to sit and talk to this woman and try to get her to understand the dark road she's about to head on. And I see the road that this sister is headed on. And again, I've seen so many different women like your Halle Berry, your Vivica Fox. I mean, many of these women successful in Hollywood, but miserable because they have no spiritual center. They have no spiritual foundation. And because their spirit is just completely a mess, they're out here thinking, I'm going to find better in the world, but you're not going to find anything better out there. No, all you're going to do is get bitter. And once you get bitter, then you're on a road where there's an emotional wall, and that emotional wall will keep you away from the Most High, who loves you, wants to help you, and wants to work things out for you. And I really want to see Tia Mowry really, instead of her divorcing her husband, go out here and talk to this man and work things out with this man, because this brother he was just blindsided by this. And again, she's the one thinking she's going to hurt this brother, but this brother, he has every right to go on at this point. But I believe he wants to work things out with her. But again, sadly, this woman doesn't understand the Jezebel spirit and how insidious it is at destroying a family and a home. So that was the whole point of this stream. I'm glad that Ringo was a part of it and everybody else was a part of it. So this is one that, again, I'm really passionate about, and I want to wrap this one up. But your Tia Mowry desperately needs to read The Woman Crisis, which is coming in November. This is a book that I wrote to help lots of women be able to break out of this whole feminist mindset. And you guys, if you want to pick up The Woman Crisis, you can pre-order your copy on Kindle, and you can also pre-order it if you want to pick it up on Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, or other on. So you can go out here and pre-order The Woman Crisis. And this book I wrote to help lots of women, and I'm hoping it can have an impact in women's lives. And I'm hoping that ladies will come out here and pick up the book. So I'm gonna get ready to wrap up tonight's stream, and I hope you guys will be there for next week's stream. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We got 63 likes and we've got 75 in the room. Let's get that up to 70 before I wrap it up. So let's get the likes up to 70. That will really help the channel and help with the algorithm. So I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. But I'm hoping you guys will be there for next week's stream, and I hope you guys will have a good evening, have a great weekend, and have a good night.